Heidi.
I'm Sara.
And we play in a death doom band called Konvent. And we're here with Premier Guitar's Big Five.
So what's my favorite guitar? My favorite guitar is this cheap ass motherfucker. It's the Squiers Jackmaster, and I think I had this for 15 years almost now. And I tried a lot of other guitars, but somehow I keep going back to this one. It has this deep bass, kind of groovy, deep sound, which I really like. And it has this very non-metal like form. It's not a typical metal guitar, but that's just me. I love it. It was my first guitar, which my mom bought for me. And she was like, you can only use around this kind of money. And I was like, okay. And I tried a lot of guitars back then in the store. And I just think that it was very easy to play. I just think it's a very basic and cool guitar.
My favorite bass is kind of similar to Sara's. It's a cheap-ass bass that I bought right when we started the band in 2015. It's the Fender Squier Jaguar bass in a short scale version. I have really small fingers and hands, so I remember going to the instrument store when I was when we started the band.
I was actually with you at that time when you bought this.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was not in the beginning of the band because you played in an Ibanez bass. You got this some years after.
I did. I started playing on an Ibanez micro. It was never really for me, and I always felt like, okay, I need something else. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So I wanted a new guitar that I felt was like more me than the Ibanez Micro. And then I went to the store with you, apparently, and I remember just looking at all the short scale basses they had. I remember when I got this in my hands, I was like, this fits me like a glove. And at that point, I didn't really know what my sound was going to be like. So when we started playing and started doing our own songs and stuff like that, I just sort of felt like this just fit the sound I wanted really well. It's probably not that normal for professional bass players to use such a cheap bass, but I mean, if it works for me and I think it sounds good, that's the most important thing about it. To be honest, I'm not a very technical person when it comes to the instruments or the gear we have in general in the band. We just feel like if something sounds good, we don't feel the need to change it. My Desert Island album would be Witchcraft with the album Legend. It's an album I've been listening to probably constantly since I heard it for the first time many years ago. It's a Swedish band that I've never seen live before, and I can't wait. I'm going to see them for the first time at Konvent Festival here in Denmark in June, and I can't wait. There's no bad songs on this album, and it just has such a doomy 70s kind of vibe, but still with a very modern kind of feel to it. Such great lyrics. The melodies are it just touches me so much. I think it's called The End, or what's the song called? Dead End, sorry. It's one of my best songs, one of my favorite songs ever. It's 12 minutes long, I think, and there's so many elements to this song, and I can just listen to it every fucking day.
For me, I guess it's Deftones with Diamond Eyes. I really love that album, and I can listen to it again and again, and it reminds me of a specific time in my life where I listened a lot to this album. So it's just a beautiful album.
My biggest guitar bass culture pet peeve would be that you always have to have like the most expensive and coolest gear to play on, and it always has to be, you have to have all these different pedals, and it's kind of not normal to just have a basic setup and not worry too much about the gear you have and just trusting it. And I feel like that's something we do a lot. We just trust the gear we have. It's a basic setup. We know it sounds good and it works for us. But I've been told so many times, like, what are you doing with that bass guitar? Like, why don't you upgrade it to a better one, a more expensive one? And you should upgrade the sound. And I'm like, it's not for you to decide. And I didn't ask your opinion. So I think it would be like the know-it-all, like, we can do it better. We could upgrade you. Like, I don't need to be upgraded. It's fine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Heidi.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we talked about that question before, and I agree so much, because a lot of people get limited when they see, like, when they think like, oh, I can't start playing this and this with this guitar. But the truth is, yes, you can. You just have to go in there and just start playing, and that's the most important. And you will figure it out someday if you need to upgrade. Do you have any like guitar hero or bass hero which might shock people? If I have to pick one, I guess it's Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters. He has this like very nice way to do the rhythm guitar, and I think he's kind of very cool where he sings, where he do the vocals and do this kind of like alternative rhythm guitar.
Mine isn't unusual as well. I've never really thought about having like a hero in front of me when I think about basses, but I remember hearing, and now I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Nick Cageo? Nick Cageo? He played in Mutoid Man. Anyways, I remember hearing the song Bleeder was the final track on the album, and I was like, just completely fell in love with the bass sound and the way that they just made the bass stand out on that song. It has such a great feel to it, such a vulnerable vibe, but still really heavy, and I really, really love that. My secret weapon would be always having the thought of like everything is going to work out. It's always going to work out for the best. I've always had that intention with the band and the attitude that, of course, we're going to reach the goals we have, the dreams we have, because if we don't think we're going to do it, why keep doing this? In Danish, we call it godtroende, which could be directly translated to the believer in the good outcomes. And I'm very godtroende.
Yes, you are actually. Yeah. That's very nice. And for me, my secret weapon is not to listen to other opinions and always trust in yourself. And especially when it comes to writing music, sometimes maybe the other ones in the bands or people outside the band can say, oh, do you think that this is a good riff or this is, but just keep on going and trust in yourself and trust in what you do, and it will come out great.